Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be here in Women Helping Women. This is so fun being a part of this group, and I just want to thank everyone for this beautiful community. I feel so blessed to be a part of it. So today I want to talk about a few things. Just to introduce myself, first of all, my name is Alyse Bacine. I am a breath worker and psychic healer, and I guide my clients to healing and transformation through breath work and my psychic gifts. And if you saw me last week, I explained a lot about what breath work is and what happens in a session and why it's so transformational and so powerful. But I'll refresh your memory on that a little bit as we go along. But today what I really want to focus on is I want to tell you how I went from being an approval-seeking people pleaser just a few months ago into having my business, being an entrepreneur as a breath worker and psychic healer. And then the other thing I really want to get into today is relationships and how those two kind of interconnect. Hi, Jocelyn. And for anyone who's watching, please feel free to ask me questions. I love having your questions so we can make this more of a discussion and so I can clarify things for you of what I'm talking about. So the big thing that I want to get into today is relationships, and I'll explain to you how that correlates to the transformation that I made, because a lot of the relationships that we have in our lives and even the way we relate to ourselves goes back to the relationships we saw growing up and what we witnessed in our households, the way that our parents related to each other, and the way that they related to us, the way they related to our siblings. As children, when we watch these relationships, we absorb them and we make decisions about what relationships should be based on what we see our parents doing. So this is really important to understand, because every way that you relate to people, you are usually going into a relationship pattern that you saw growing up, unless you become super conscious about it. So for myself, and I'm going to use myself as an example here, I was always a people pleaser, and I learned this from my mother. My mother was the exact same way, and she didn't really have any boundaries with people. She was always just doing what everyone wanted her to do based on like what she thought would make them happy instead of what actually worked for her. And this is what I witnessed growing up. So unconsciously, this is what I took on. This is what I started doing because this is what I witnessed as a child. So I always did what I thought other people wanted me to do. I was always seeking approval from others, right? So even in my career, instead of really following what my heart was, I did what I thought was the safe thing, was the easy thing, and what I thought my parents wanted me to do to seek their approval and make them happy and please them. So I became a school counselor, and my parents were both teachers. I even worked in the same school district that they did here in Philadelphia. I literally did everything that I thought my parents wanted me to do, really not even taking into consideration what my heart truly wanted and what my soul was actually desiring, what my divine gifts were, none of that. I just listened to what I thought my parents wanted me to do, what I thought society wanted me to do, because the relationship pattern that I picked up in childhood was to please people. I thought that the only way to get love and feel connection was to do what I thought other people wanted me to do. And let me know if you guys can relate to this, because I feel like this is a really big one that a lot of people can relate to, is doing things because you think that's what someone wants you to do, even though it's not what you truly want. And that is how I lived my life for so long. And especially with, not only with my parents, but then when I moved into my relationship with my husband, I did the same exact thing. Oh, good. I'm glad you can relate. Yes, please let me know, because I feel like this is such a big one. And then I moved into relationships, romantic relationships Then when I met my husband, same exact thing. I was always just doing what I thought they wanted me to do instead of actually what my soul was telling me to do. So this was huge. And this is so hard to see, and it's also hard to stop unless you become super conscious of it. And that's what I want to empower everyone to do today, is to become super conscious of these ways that we relate to others and ourselves that aren't in our power, that aren't aligned with our soul's calling. This is so common for women. We think that we have to take care of everyone. We think that we have to put everyone else before ourselves. And where does that leave us? It leaves us disempowered. It leaves us not sharing our gifts. And it leaves us making decisions that aren't in alignment for who we really are. And that is not helping anyone. It's not helping the planet. It's not helping each other. And it's definitely not helping ourselves. So a few months ago, I made the decision that I was going to stop doing this. And I had a lot of tools. I had an amazing coach, shout out to Jocelyn. And I really decided that I was going to live my truth and I was going to stop people pleasing. And let me tell you, that was really scary, like really, really scary, because I had to come out on social media and come out in front of my family, my husband, and say, this is who I am. I'm starting a business. I'm psychic. Well, that was a huge one. And then I had to come out in front of everyone I know and say, listen, I'm a healer. This is who I am. I'm starting a business. And that was really, really scary for me. And I know to hear it, it seems like that's awesome. But when you're going through it, so much fear comes up. So much fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear about what everybody's gonna think. Like, what are my old coworkers gonna think? What are my current coworkers gonna think? What is my family gonna think? Oh my God, are my in-laws gonna think I'm so weird? It's really funny that I brought that up because recently my mother-in-law called me and said, how come in your email signature it says that you're a psychic? And I was like, because I am. And that was like huge for me. I'm usually very independent in work and life, but when it comes to relationships, I fall into codependency. Yes, so many of us do. And I really want to bring this up because I just recently had such a shift in my business because I started showing up differently in my relationship with my husband. And let me go into that for a minute because this is so, so, so important. Because as we grow and as we change, we hit these hurdles, right? Like we hit these hurdles of like growth where we get to a certain point and then all of this fear comes up and we realize we have to like shed something. We have to move through that fear to go to the next level. And for me, what I came up against was that I was still playing small in my relationship with my husband. And what I mean by that is we had all these codependency things going on. Like we are together, had been together for 11 years. So when I got together with him, I was a different person. I was younger. I was, less confident and I was less conscious. And we would go into all of these relationship patterns together, one being that I would play small and I would let him be controlling. And once I realized that I was doing this, I was like, wait a second. If I'm doing this with him, this is going to affect how I am in my business. Because if I want to be successful in my business, I can't play small in any way. I can't let anyone control me. I have to be in control. So what ended up happening was I had to really disengage from his energy and say, no, you are not going to control me. I had to step up. I had to stop playing small and I had to create real specific boundaries. And that wasn't easy. It took a lot of navigating. It took him yelling at me a lot because he's like, who are you? He even said to me the other day, he's like, I don't even know who this new Alyse is. She's like not the person I married. And I was like, well, that's what happens. I had to completely change the way that I related to him because I realized it was affecting my business. Because if you're playing small in one area of your life, you're going to be playing small in a lot of areas of your life, or it's going to bleed over energetically, right? So I could only reach a certain threshold in my business while I was still playing small in my relationship. So I had to get really, really clear on what I needed to change there so I could show up differently there, so then I could show up differently in my relationship. And that was a huge shift for me. But this is really important because these are unconscious relationship dynamics that we pick up in childhood. Yes, try not to play small anymore. I mean, this is huge, and it's really important to have this awareness so that you can look for where you're doing that in your life, because this is really common for women, that we allow men to take control, right? We think that they're supposed to be the ones who make the decisions and we're supposed to just go along with it, But you don't go along with something if it doesn't feel right to you. In that moment, when you go along with something that doesn't feel right to you, you're abandoning yourself. And when you abandon yourself, you're showing yourself that you're not important enough to take your feelings into consideration and to show up for yourself. And when you're not showing up for yourself in your relationship, you're not showing up for yourself in your business. And that's the key that's really, really important, is you have to be able to show up 100% all the time and say, yes, this is what I'm doing. This is who I am. I'm not apologizing for it. I'm not feeling bad about it. And you know what? Fear will come up around that. And that's okay. You have to push through it. And I feel like for me, one of the keys from me going to being a people pleaser to being an entrepreneur is pushing through the fear. I've been so stuck in my masculine energy that I believed everything about being feminine was weak. Yes, that is huge. And being feminine is not weak. You can be in your feminine and stand in your power. But one of the biggest ways that I went from being a people pleaser and being approval seeking and not being in my power to becoming an entrepreneur and owning my power in my business is A, trusting myself, but B, pushing through the fear. I had to get used to pushing through the fear, because if I didn't, I would let the fear hold me back. And that just wasn't working for anybody. And I knew that this is what I wanted. I got to the place of like, I know this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I know I'm a healer, and I know I'm supposed to be helping people. I'm aware of that intuitively. I have this deep inner knowing that this is what I'm supposed to be doing to help people heal. And I had to just continue to push through the fear. And then something crazy happened and I just got used to it. Like I would be like, okay, I have to do this live, or I have to write this email, or I have to do this post that felt scary and it felt like I was going to be exposed in a new way. But then basically I got to the point where I was just like, fuck it, I don't care. Because I know I need to push through this fear to get to the next level, and being successful in my business is more important than anything else. So I'm going to push through the fear and I'm going to let myself feel it, and then usually it would go away and I can move on. People pleaser to getting my power. Yeah, you got to push through the fear. That is the number one thing. If you are always going to have fear about moving to the next level, that's just how humans are. We have been conditioned by society and by our parents to think that for whatever reason, we are not good enough. And I'm not saying to blame your parents for anything that's going on with you, because I don't see it that way. It's just important to look at how your parents' relationships and the way that they were with each other affected you. But it's not about blaming anyone. It's about empowering you to take responsibility for what happened in the past and how it affected you, so you can write a new story for yourself and show up in a new way. So it's nobody's fault. Your parents did the best that they could with the circumstances they had. It's just about now taking that information and empowering yourself to create a new story that's more aligned with who you really are, what your soul's calling is, and what your divine gifts are. Because I truly believe that we all have unique divine gifts to share with the world. And when we are all sharing them, then not only are we gonna feel healed, but the world is gonna heal too. So that is my big message, is share your unique gifts. And how do we get there, right? Well, one of the things I talked about is the relationship patterns, right, that we pick up, and why it's so important to look at this. Another huge relationship pattern, other than the people pleasing and approval seeking that I mentioned earlier, is around competition and jealousy. So this is a big one that we picked up with our siblings. If you have siblings, I'm sure that you can relate to this. And I see this with my own kids too. My kids get extremely jealous and competitive with each other, usually for my attention or my husband's attention. And this is a huge one, because this is something that we pick up in childhood, but then we'll take this into the work world or in the career world. And it's so easy to look at what someone else is doing and maybe feel jealousy if they've been more successful than you, or excuse me, or put yourself in competition with them, right? Like compare yourself to them. And that is so detrimental to your growth, because there's no point in comparing yourself with anyone. We all have unique gifts to share, and we will all attract the exact right people that we're supposed to attract, that we're supposed to share our gifts with. So there's no point in comparing yourself to what other people are doing. And I know that it's difficult. I know that you'll see other people, like, if you're a coach or you have a business and other people have the same kind of business, it's hard not to compare yourself. But this is a pattern, a way of relating that we picked up in childhood that doesn't serve our well-being. So when you catch yourself doing that, you can say to yourself, no. I'm not going to go into that pattern, because that does not serve my well-being. That does not serve my business. I know that I have my own unique gifts to share, and I'm going to focus on honing those gifts, on getting in touch with my intuition on a deep level and understanding what my true gifts are, instead of comparing myself and putting myself into a box of what other people are doing, because that's just like dimming your light. And why would you want to do that? You want your light to shine, your unique gifts to shine. So competition and jealousy and comparison is another big relationship pattern that we picked up in childhood. And why is it so important to understand these patterns, right? If you're saying to me, okay, I have my own business and I'm doing great, why is it important for me to understand relationship dynamics from childhood? Because these will come up in your business. Can you ever read? Yeah, I'm going to do some readings at the end for sure. I just want to keep track of time here. Okay, so why are these so important? Understanding this is so important because all of this stuff will come up in business, right? So if you come in contact with a client and they trigger you in some way, or they say something that really puts you off, it's so important to look at that, because most likely you will be playing out a pattern that you picked up in childhood, whether it's the dynamic you had with your mother, the dynamic you had with your father. It's so important to have awareness around this stuff. Okay, so everyone's asking for reading, so I'm just gonna jump to that. Because we only have like 10 minutes, so I'm gonna jump to readings. So first I just wanna pull a couple cards for the group, because I'm gonna ask as a collective what we need to do to release any relationship dynamics that are holding us back. And then I'll take, I know I have Uzma and Monica, and I'll pull cards for you guys too. You can let me know if you have specific questions. But I'm just gonna pull like 2 cards for the group, to what we have to let go of in order to really release any unconscious relationship patterns that are holding us back. Okay, so The first one is chop wood. So this is really an awesome card, and I'll tell you why. This is all about continuing on the path, doing the work that it takes to release anything that's holding you back. So, okay. So this is about, I see everybody. So this is all about continuing to do the work and continuing to believe in the things that you cannot see. Knowing that if you continue to do the work every day, the unconscious work, the work around connecting with your intuition, you will see the fruits of that. Okay, and the next one is All That Glitters. This is the other one for the group. This again is about peeling back the mask of 3D reality and being able to see what's underneath of that. So this is really about connecting with yourself and connecting with your intuition on a really, really deep level. Okay, so Uzma, I'm gonna pull a card for you first, and I didn't see if you had a question or not. Let me see. Okay, Uzma, this. Oh, okay. Uzma, this one is yours. This is Round and Round. So this is what we're wanting you to know here. What the cards are saying here is that everything is cyclical, right? There is a season to everything. Okay, so Uzma, any significant dates? What's coming up for me? What's coming up is that you need to understand that everything is cyclical, okay? Everything has a season. So that's really, really important for you to understand, to know that this too shall pass. So whatever is happening right now, knowing that this is a phase and that the tides will turn, things will come around again, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so Monica, if you see a relationship in the future and success in my online business I'm about to start. Okay, Monica, let's see what comes up for you. Perfect. Breathe. This is telling you to stop and listen to your intuition, Monica, and breathe. And if you want to talk to me more about that, you certainly can, because I'm the breathwork queen over here. So if you want to talk about breathing, I'm your girl. This is telling you to stop and breathe, okay? And listen to your intuition, listen to your inner knowing, and that's the way you're going to have success. Okay, I'm sorry if I'm missing people. There's a lot of people. Okay, Olivia would love a card. Okay, Olivia, I see this one's for you. Oh, you got the same one, All That Glitters, which is really about pulling back the mask, not focusing on what's out here, but focusing on what's in here. So pulling back the mask of the 3D reality. It's not about doing anything out here. It's not about making changes to your outer world. It's about making changes to your inner world, okay? Okay, Lindsay, I would like to know if I should keep going with my business. Okay. All right. That's not. I keep getting the same ones. It's so funny. So Lindsay, you got chop wood. And this is all about continuing to put the work in. You can't give up, okay? The only sure way to fail is if you give up. So you can't give up here. So it's saying you need to continue to put the work in. Even if you feel like you're failing, you have to keep going, okay? Sorry, I'm seeing so many. Monica, do you see me moving into my healing business and being successful? Okay, let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, so unfinished symphony, this is saying like that there's some unfinished business that you need to take care of before you can fully put yourself into it. So to me, I see that as dealing with whatever your limiting beliefs are about yourself, to really look at those and decide, how can I deal with this so that I can propel myself forward? And that's really what I want to talk about. I'll do one more. Okay, Dana. And I'm sorry if I'm missing people. There's just a lot and I'm trying to get everybody. Dana. Okay, let's see. Oh, Dana, you got peace. So this is really just about how are you finding that peace within you? How are you finding stillness? Because that's really going to help propel you forward, is the ability to find stillness within you. And that is really something that you need to take a look at. Where can you be more still, and where can you find more peace within yourself? Okay, Shayla, going through an emotional tizzy. I think we all are at times. Okay, Shayla. Shayla, this is a really good one. So this is Never Ending Story, and this is about the stories that you tell yourself, right? Why are you going through an emotional tizzy? What stories are you telling yourself about yourself that might not be true? So you really need to look at that. What stories are you telling are on replay in your head that aren't necessarily true, and how can you rewrite those stories? Okay? So that's a really, really important one. So really quick, guys, because I'm running out of time. If you didn't, oh good, I'm so glad. If I didn't pull a card for you, then please join my Facebook group called Breathe to Succeed. I put the link up there because I do Friday card readings every week. It's my Friday happy hour. So join my group and you can get a reading every Friday. And then also what I really just wanted to talk about is my course, The Metamorphosis. If you are resonating with what I'm saying around relationships and really how to propel yourself forward, check out my course, The Metamorphosis. This just launched. It's 8 weeks to uncovering your soul's divine purpose and creating rock star status in career and relationships. This is like no nonsense here. So this course, if you are interested in making big changes, this is your answer. I have taken everything I've learned in the last 20 years of my personal growth process, and I've streamlined it into an 8-week course to make things speedy and to help you access the information in an easy way. I'm not going to say it's easy because you will have to confront what's holding you back, but I have made it as easy as possible for you. I have a background in education and I know how to write a curriculum that creates results. So if you are really looking to make big changes in your life, whether it's around career, whether it's around relationships, this course is for you, and this is the best way to work with me. So if you're interested in making big changes and you really want to work with me, then I would really suggest checking out my course. I put the link there. I also put a link to schedule a call with me. If you're interested in working with me or you want more insights into how you can move forward with either a career pivot or changing a relationship, schedule a call with me and we can talk about how to help you move forward. So, but definitely everyone join my Facebook group and check out The Metamorphosis and schedule a call. And if you want more oracle card readings, which I know everyone loves, those are live every Friday at 5 in my Facebook group called Breathe to Succeed. And if you're interested in learning more about breath work, there is lots of resources and information there. And also just schedule a call with me because I will tell you exactly how breath work can change your life, and I can help you get the results that I got, in just a short amount of time. We can take you from questioning to really knowing and understanding your divine purpose and being in the place to share your gifts. So I can't wait to hear from you guys. And this was so much fun. I love doing this, and I will see you guys soon. Oh, the link to schedule a call is right above the video. It says, click here to schedule a call. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll talk to you soon.